Hi everybody, welcome to Wednesday Yoga at White City Place. White City Place Connect, where we're offering, I can never get this, I still have to read it off the paper even after all these months, where we're providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage while supporting wellbeing from the comfort and safety of your own homes. Fabulous. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the core a little bit today, an integration of core alignment. So our core muscles include not just the abdominal muscles, but all the muscles that support and surround the spine and the muscles around the hips also. We're going to be beginning lying down on our backs. So you may want a blanket if your spine is particularly uncomfortable in these practices. I've got this little rug. If you're on a carpet and you have a mat, you may not need the extra padding. And just come to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Giving yourself just a few moments to arrive here. Allowing the weight of your bones to drop down into the softness of the earth and the palms towards the ceiling. Relax the muscles of the face. Let the molars slightly part. Relax the hinge of your jaw. Back of the skull spreading. Shoulder blades and sacrum spreading against the earth. And taking your hands just onto your lower belly, above the pubis, below the navel, maybe one hand on top of the other. Soften the elbows. Perhaps notice any resistance to taking your hands to this part of yourself. And just begin to feel the breath that's there. The natural swell of the inhale and the retraction on the exhale. And as you bring your awareness to the breath that's there, it may intensify a little. You may have a little bit more of a sense of that swelling and the light connection to your core muscles on the end of the exhale. End of the exhale, belly draws down and slightly upwards. And can you add to this a gentle lift to the pelvic floor, the mesh of muscles that lie between the pubis and the tailbone. They attach to those 2 points. And like a diamond shape, they attach also to the 2 ischial tuberosities. Like a little hammock there. Keep that lightly lifted, at the same time check the tension in your face. And keep the breath flowing in and flowing out. Bring your arms down by your sides and we'll take this action of the breath and belly into a little movement. So as you exhale, press your lumbar curve down to the floor, tilt your tailbone, shorten the space between your navel and your pubis. As you inhale, bring the tailbone to the floor, slightly over-exaggerate the arch in your lumbar spine. Exhaling, press the lower back down, scooping the belly inwards and upwards. Inhale, tailbone drops, and then you're lengthening that space that was just before on the exhale contracting. Continue for a few more rounds. Also tilting the pelvis to its 2 polarities. Before settling somewhere in neutral. Neutral S shape to your spine. We're going to reverse the breath now, so turn the palms down. Adjust the feet if you need to, in the knowledge that you're going to lift your hips off the floor.
Press into the feet, and as you inhale, curl the tailbone off the floor. Lift up onto the tops of the shoulders, center back of the skull. Hold your bridge here and exhale completely. On empty, curl your way back down to the floor. And when the hips reach the earth, take a natural inhale and exhale. Press into the feet. On the inhale, curl your way up into bridge, peeling each vertebra up off the floor. Hold your bridge. Exhale completely so there's no breath left in the body. Roll down on empty. Feel the navel pull to the spine. Take an inhale and exhale. This is Uddiyana Bandha Kriya. One more time. Inhaling, rolling up. Exhale here. On no breath, curl your way down. Release, take a natural inhale and exhale. So one of the cleansing, purifying practices. So finding perhaps a different set of abdominal muscles now. Take your fingertips to the crests of your hips, your iliac crests, those two bony hip bones at the front of your body. And imagine you're drawing the pelvic bones closer towards one another as you slide the fingers close towards the midline. So like a little gathering there. And we're activating the transverse abdominal muscles here that lie below the longitudinal ones. They're the deepest of the abdominal muscles. And they do exactly what they are named. They traverse. They move across. You can keep the hands here if that's useful, or bring them back down onto the floor. And moving on the exhale, as we've identified the abdominal muscles, switch on the exhale. Pick up your right foot, shin is parallel to the floor, and then your left foot. Feel how the muscles react, feel what's happening into the lower back. Inhale, right foot places down, and then the left foot. We'll go again, right foot, exhale, left foot. Inhale, right foot and left foot. And again, exhale. Inhale. Notice if the belly is hardening forward. Exhale. And inhale. Or if you can broaden and flatten that mesh of muscles. Right foot, left foot on the exhale. Right foot, left foot on the inhale. Couple more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it here. Open the arms out to the sides in a T position, palms facing up. Keep an equal amount of distance between your inner thighs and your shins. Take an exhale and roll the knees about a third of the way over to the right. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, take them a third of the way to the left. Coming back, inhale. Working a different set of abdominal muscles, more your oblique muscles now. Exhale. Inhale. Softening the shoulders, front of the throat. Exhale. Inhale. One more time each side. And back to the center. Draw the knees towards you. Give yourself a hug with the hands over the knees. Maybe let the knees drop out to the sides away from one another a little bit. Soften the tops of your thighs as you hug in. And then placing the feet back to the floor, hip distance apart. Fingers can come back onto the pelvic bones, the crest of your hips. Moving them in towards the midline. So just tracing the transverse abdominal muscles. Or hands down by the side. Begin with the left knee. Exhale. And then right knee. Inhale, right foot, left foot. Exhale, left, right. Inhale, left and right. So 2 movements for the exhale. 2 movements for the inhale. Nice and simply. Just staying present to the movement of the muscles underneath your fingers, if your hands are there, or just a sense of the muscles that are switching on as you do this. A couple more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Both knees come up, shins are parallel to the floor. Open the arms out to the sides. This time, turn the palms down on the earth. Lift the toes a little bit higher. Point the feet and flex the toes back. So the toes a little bit higher than the knees. Turn your gaze to the left and take your knees off center to the right. Just until the left hip bone comes off the floor. Press the balls of the feet out. Couple of breaths here as you hold an equal distance between your inner legs. Energy moving out through the balls of your feet. Use your arms for support. Keep the breath flowing. Take it back to the center. Turn your head to the right. Take your knees over to the left. Press the balls of the feet out. Just about a third of the way off center should be enough. Breathing here. And coming back to the center and hugging your knees in towards you. Good. So if you're on a blanket, can you make sure that your shoulders are on the blanket, but your head is off? I'll show you this next little movement. We're going to have the hands on the floor like a little springboard. Roll back into a plow. Maybe we'll hold this for a few breaths, breathing into the back of the body. This is the inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to come forward. Place the feet into a Utkatasana and come forward over the legs. Inhale, roll back into a plow. Exhale, come forward and over into Utkatasana. And again, massaging the spine. Just a little bit playful here, keeping the navel drawing back to support the back. Just moving as much joy through the body as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. From here, we're coming to seated. I'm going to take one shin in front of the left, come to a cross-legged position. You might want to roll up your blanket and sit on your blanket. You need a little bit more elevation for the hips. Find a block or a cushion to sit onto. I'm practicing a pranayama called Kapalabhati. So let's just first check out that natural breathing pattern for most of us. There may be one or two of you who are paradoxical breathers, which will mean that you naturally tend towards an opposition of breath. So when we inhale, the belly inflates, as we just discovered on the floor. As we exhale, the belly draws back towards the spine. If that's not natural for you, just work here, seeing if you can cultivate the belly swelling and rising on the inhale, and then drawing back towards the spine on the exhale. Normally the inhale is active, and the exhale is passive. We're going to do the opposite here in this pranayama practice. So we make the exhalation active with a short, sharp breath out through the nose as the belly draws back. So it goes a little bit like this. Yeah. The inhalation will happen quite naturally. But we want to make sure that the inhalation is allowed to draw in. So we're going to do it quite slowly, just so we don't get that sense of feeling a little lightheaded or hyperventilating. And if of course you do, you can always stop this practice. Hand can stay on your belly, or you can rest your hand onto your thigh. We're going to do 3 rounds. First round, 10 pumping breaths. Second round, 20. Third round, 30. Take an inhale together. Exhale, it's all in and out through the nose. Take an inhale, we'll take 10 pumping breaths.
Take an inhale and a complete exhale. 20 breaths, inhaling. Take an inhale. Complete exhale. Prepare for the third and final round. Inhaling 30 breaths. And let this go. So your hand rests on your thigh. Close your eyes. And just notice, as well as toning the abdominal organs and abdominal wall, this practice helps to clean and clear the entire respiratory system. Kapala translates as skull, bhati as shiny, shiny skull. It's said to polish the inside of your skull, so creating a brightness and clarity of mind. Really beautiful practice first thing in the morning if you feel a little sluggish or your mind is a little unfocused. So coming out of this onto your hands and your knees, maybe just move the blanket out of the way now so you have a clear mat. Press the tops of the feet and shins to the floor, hands to the earth. Exhale, lift and round your spine. Draw the back of the abdominal wall towards the inner spine. Inhale, lift your heart and broaden your sit bones without collapsing or dipping too much into the lower back. Exhale, press down. Lift the back of the abdominal wall towards the inner spine. Inhale, lengthen. One more time. Exhale. Pressing the earth away from you. Inhale, this time tucking the toes. Walk your hands a little bit forward. Float the knees off the floor and start to lift your sit bones, reaching towards the crease where the wall meets the ceiling. Knees tracking over the middle two toes, keeping the knees bent for a moment. Awareness that the arms are connecting to the mid-back. Like a big V shape here for the center point of your mid-back, out to the longest finger. And lower your knees to the floor and come and sit back onto the heels into a modified child's pose. Elbows are off the floor here as the arms extend and the upper arms lifting up to the sides of your ears as you curl the outer edges of your shoulder blades around and down. Inhaling, coming up once again, lifting the heart, so there's a slight tilt of the pelvis already. Float the knees off the floor, and maybe this time you begin to unfold a little bit more. Maybe straightening the legs a little bit more. And finding the stability of your downward facing dog. One of the most unconditional creatures. Walking your hands back towards your feet as you hang over your legs in a forward bend. Let your head go. And notice the lower belly. Is it hardening forward? Can you hollow it back? Allow the organs to lift up towards the rib cage. That little upward lift of Uddiyana Bandha starting to happen here. Maybe nod and shake your head, releasing any tension there. And lengthening your
Gaze along the mat. Start to walk your hands back into your dog pose. Couple of breaths here. Step the left foot a little closer to your right. And as you inhale, float the right leg up behind you, pointing the toes. Reach back through the inner thigh, inner ankle, inner big toe. As you exhale and come forward into plank, lift the navel to draw the knee through. So moving from your core. Inhale, extend the leg. A strong core will help you to move with grace and ease through your practice. Exhaling, coming forward. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, step the foot forward in between the hands. Help it through if you need to so the ankle rises under the knee. Root down through the feet. Let the belly hover on top of the thigh. And float your arms by your sides with your palms facing up. Lift the shoulder heads. Curl them around towards the center of the spine a little bit. As you inhale, float the arms forward, palms down. Exhale, breaststroke the arms around. Inhaling, feel the air between your fingers. Exhale. Inhaling, this time the arms lift the chest. Soften the back knee a little bit. Wrap the left side of your body forward, melt the shoulders. Start to descend slowly, keeping the height of your spine. Softly lowering your back knee to the floor and taking the fingertips underneath your shoulders. Lift your toes, hinge back into Ardha Manasana. Pulling the heel back towards you, couple of breaths here. Walking yourself onto your right foot, plant the palms, lift the back knee, step back into a high plank. You could lower the knees to the floor as you come down, or walk over the toes and come down through a chaturanga, lengthening the toes away. Bring all 10 toenails to the floor, lift your inner thighs towards the sky so there's a breadth across the sacrum, and bring your arms down by your sides with your palms facing up. Lift the shoulder heads away from the floor, extend the heart forward, reach the hands off the earth. Couple of breaths here. Planting, rooting the feet into the earth. And taking the thumbs underneath the shoulders. Push back up onto your hands and knees. Round the back a little bit. And maybe give your hips a little wiggle to stretch out those contracted muscles. Tuck your toes and float yourself up and back into a downward facing. And step your right foot a little closer to your left. Float the left leg up behind you as you point the toes. Reach out. Inhale. Exhale, come forward knee to nose. Inhale, expand away from your center. Exhale, lift the navel to draw the knee through. Draw it forward. Inhaling. Exhale. Step the left foot in between the hands. Help it through if you need to. Root down through the feet. Let the belly float off the thigh. Reach your arms back. Palms facing up. Lengthening the tailbone. Lift and roll the shoulders towards one another. Float the arms forward. Palms down as you inhale. Fingers light as a feather. Exhale, brush the arms around. Inhaling, arms float forward. Exhale. Inhale the arms this time. Lift the chest. Soften the back knees so the pelvis feels right in the center of the pose. And slowly start to lower the leg down. Knee lightly touches the floor. Take the fingertips under the shoulders. Lift your front toes as you hinge back. Ardha Manasana. Drawing the heel back towards you. Couple of breaths here.
Walking yourself onto the foot, lift the back knee, step back into a high plank. Lower your knees or whole body down in one piece. Slide the legs away from you. Bring the arms down by your sides, palms facing up, shoulder heads lift away from the floor. Slide the ribcage along the earth as you reach your heart forward into space. Maybe the legs float off, hands float off. Reach towards your outer ankle bones as you breathe. Lovely. Keep the chest and legs lifted. Place the thumbs underneath the shoulders. Push into the hands, rock the thighs to the floor. Utkatasana. Not too high that you're compressing in the lower back. Curl the armpits forward. Maybe a little bit higher than your baby cobra. And release yourself down to the earth. Push into the hands. Come back onto your knees, lift and round your spine. Little wiggle of your hips. And tucking the toes, float your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Step your left foot a little closer to your right. Float the right leg up behind you, pointing the toes. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knee through, step the foot in between the hands. So there's that scoop, that little upward lift of the belly to help that foot make its way all the way forward. Root down to the feet, float the arms behind you or by your side. Just once this time, inhale, float the arms forward, palms down. Exhale, breaststroke the arms around. Inhale, let the chest float up, soften the back knee. Twist, left arm forward, right arm back. Windmill the arms, left arm comes up by the ear, back heel down, warrior two with the right foot in front. Raise up your right arm, inhale, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, straighten the knee, swing back, briefly touch Trikonasana. Inhale, coming up, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, lift out to the waist. Exhale, briefly touching each pose on the exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling, coming up, turning your right toes in. Right hand comes up by the ear. Left hand comes onto your sacrum with the fingers pointing the same way as your tailbone. Keep the hips square to the front. Start to rotate towards the left with the heart. Soften the knees and reach out here. So coming forward on a diagonal, maybe towards a flat back. Upper arm stays lifted by the ear. Couple of breaths. And then keeping going on that diagonal extension. Right fingertips float to the floor. Lift out of your shoulder. Continue to twist the heart. Same direction. Chin slightly in. And if it's freely given, the left arm floats up. A couple of breaths here. Lifting the back of the abdominal wall towards the inner spine. To support and maintain the posture, natural S shape of your spine. Let the arm float down, taking a hold of your elbows as you hang through the center of the pose. And softening the knees as you come all the way up to standing, framing the head with the arms. Spin your feet to the right, open up the arms, drop down into a warrior two. Maybe you're going to peel your right heel off the floor, root down to the ball of your right foot. Melt the shoulders, release the head and the neck. Where is your focus? Where are you going here as you look towards your right fingers?
Place the heel to the floor. Sweep your left arm down by your hip to carry the hip forward into a high lunge. And maybe here, lift the right heel off the floor. So you're just rooting down into the earth with the balls of your feet, receiving that uplift. Heel comes to the floor, hands to the earth. Step back into a downward facing dog. So stay here if you wish. Stabilizing, consolidating, or flow through vinyasa, whatever you please, through plank, chaturanga up dog, or knees, chest and chin cobra. Taking it back to your downward facing dog. Floating your left leg up behind you as you inhale. Exhale, step the foot forward, scoop up the belly so you've made more space to step that foot through with a little bit of grace, a bit more ease perhaps. Put down through the legs, reach your arms by your sides, palms facing up, curl the shoulders, lengthen your tailbone. Inhale, float your fingers forward. Exhale, breaststroke the arms around. Inhale, lift the chest, soften the knee, reach up. Take a twist towards the left knee, right arm forward, left arm back. And windmill the arms, right arm comes up and over, back heel to the floor, left arm rises, warrior two. Inhale, lift up the arm, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, lift, swing the hips back, exhale, Trikonasana. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, turning the left toes in, left arm up by your ear, right hand onto your sacrum, keeping the tailbone long, hips are square, rotate your heart towards the right, start to reach out here. On a diagonal, lifting the left upper arm, softening the knees a little bit. Shifting the weight, maybe slightly forward if the toes feel light. A little bit more tone to the front of the body. And keep going as the left fingertips drift to the floor. Start to lift out of that shoulder, turn the chest, open the right shoulder, hugging the right shoulder blade into the back of the body. Check that your head isn't hanging. So chin in, maybe looking up slightly. And possibly allowing that right arm to float up here, if it's freely given. Floating yourself back to the center. Take a hold of each elbow point and hand to the center of the pose. Backs of the knees are soft. Thigh muscles hugging around the bones to support the hamstrings. Engaging your core muscles to come all the way up to standing. And swiveling the feet to the left as you open up into a warrior two. Heel your left heel off the floor, root down to the ball of your foot. Send the heel to the earth. Sweep your right arm down by your hip. Carry your hip forward, high lunge. Maybe the left heel peels off here as you root down into the ground. Heel comes to the floor, hands to the earth. Step back into your downward facing dog, this most friendliest of creatures. You can stay here or flow through a vinyasa. Let's this time walk the feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. And leading with the heart, come all the way up to standing, using the legs.
Exhale, thumbs brush down past the third eye, past the heart, and we'll continue to fold as you take the fingertips to the earth. Lift and lengthen your heart. Inhale, exhale, step back with your left toes. Plant the palms, sweep your right leg up behind you as you inhale. Exhale, come forward with the knee to the outside of your right upper arm. Could you suck it up a little bit higher towards the armpit on the inhale and slide it down to the outer wrist on the exhale? From your core, slide the knee up. Take it to the center and step the foot forward. Push into the feet. Float the arms by your sides. Curl the shoulders around, palms up. Inhale, float the fingers. Let the chest come up with you. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back as you twist towards the knee. Windmill the arms into your warrior two. Inhale, raise up your right arm. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, swing the hips back. Turn the palms forward. So this time the back of the hand comes inside of the shin. You're not bearing down weights to lock out that knee. There's a relationship between the back of the hand and the shin bone as you expand outwards here. Bending your right knee, slide the right hand forward as if it were to reach beyond the big toe, and you could look towards the thumb there. As you straighten the knee again, swing the right arm across, the left arm over. Maybe the arms are floating off the body. Oblique muscles working here. Again, open it up, bending your right knee, arms in a diagonal. And shift the weight over, either towards a freestanding Ardha Manasana, lengthening forward to the armpit, or place the fingertips to the floor to find this pose. Radiating out from your navel center. And taking both sets of hands to the floor, square your hips, left leg stays lifted. So you want to make sure you have a bit of mat in front of you here, so just hop back a little bit if you don't. Possibly the hands come to the floor, and you could try just doing a few little hops here, kicking your right heel towards your right sit bone. So little suspension here. And step back into your down dog. Lower your knees to the floor, flatten your feet, and come to sit down in a child's pose. Resting the third eye on the earth, just bowing. Coming up onto your hands and your knees, tuck your toes, float your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Well done. Walking your feet forward towards the backs of the wrists. Take an inhale, leading with your heart, coming all the way up to standing. And as you exhale, thumbs brush past your third eye, past the heart space, folding all the way to the earth as you exhale. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step back with your right toes into your lunge. Sweep your left leg off behind you into a three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee comes to the outside of your left arm. Suck it up towards the armpit as you inhale. So this is a lift from the belly. Exhale, slide it down towards the outer wrist. One more time, draw it up. So we're creating that lift and lightness and step it forward. So we can start to get a little bit more levity in our practice. Push into the feet, reach the arms back. Inhale,
Float the arms forward. Exhale, breaststroke them away. Inhale, let the chest lift. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Windmill the arms into a warrior two, left leg in front. Raise up your left arm as you inhale, exhale, reverse warrior. As you come back, swing the hips back, suck the left thigh into the socket. Trikonasana, turning the palms forward. So back of the hand may be resting inside of the shin. And that lovely opening into the upper chest, across the collarbones. As you bend your left knee, slide the left hand forward as if you're reaching beyond the big toe. Maybe look towards the thumb. As you straighten the leg, left arm comes across, right arm over. Just floating away from the body here. Again, bending the knee, opening out the arms, reach the fingers forward. Hopping the weight onto the leg. Maybe a free floating Ardha Manasana, hand off the floor. Half moon pose, so I fall over. Or take your fingertips to the floor. Expanding out, away from your navel center. Create that lift away from the earth. And then hands to the floor, squaring your hips. You might be on the tips of your fingers. You might be able to plant the palms down. And then maybe just do a few little bunny hops as you kick that left heel up towards the sit bone. Maybe a little bit of lightness here. As if you were to come and hover for a moment in a handstand. Little prep for a handstand. And step back into your downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the floor. Untuck your toes as you come to sit down in a child's pose. Couple of breaths here. Present to this moment, this pose right now. This breath. Coming all the way up onto your hands and your knees, tuck your toes, float your hips up and back, down dog. Walk your feet forward towards the backs of your wrists. Feet are hip distance apart. Spin the heels in, so you've got a little first position of Charlie Chaplin foot, toes turn out. Bend your knees and drop down into a little squat. So your heels are off the floor and there's a little bit of a gap between them. Lift your gaze, there's a little extension to the spine as you draw the shoulder blades down the back. This is the inhale. And as you exhale, lift your hips right up on the tips of the toes. Inhale, drop down, lift the gaze. Exhale, lift your sit bones. You may or may not straighten the legs, and again, inhale. Little frog pose, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Coming down into your frog pose here. And seeing if you can sit back a little bit with the hips. Maybe the forearms come to the floor. And coming up here, spin the heels out so the feet are parallel. And let yourself hang once again in Utkatasana. Bending your knees, come into Utkatasana just with the arms to shoulder height and start to descend, sit bones towards the heels.
Coming down, and as best you can, roll yourself back here, coming into a half boat pose. Arms outside the body. I've got an equal distance again between my inner legs, inner ankles. You may take it to 3/4 pose, maybe full pose. And then take the feet to the floor, hands to the knees. Draw your spine nice and tall here. And stretching your legs out in front of you. So if you did have a blanket, don't worry if you don't. Roll up your blanket. I'm just going to roll up my little mat here. And place it underneath the knees. So a little softness to the knee joints here. So this is a little bit more of a yin pose in Paschimottanasana. Just letting the muscles switch off a little bit. Let the ankles and the feet be floppy. Walk your sit bones back 1 and 2, so you have that pelvic tilt, little forward nutation of the pelvis. And then simply come over your legs and let yourself flop here. So you might be here, hands on the floor either side. You might be feeling you can let your head and neck go. Releasing down here, softening the joints, as little muscular effort as possible. Even if you're upright, just relaxing, chin to chest, shoulders down. Close the eyes. There's a nice compression to the abdominal organs. And a stretch throughout the entire back of the body, not just the backs of the legs, although this may be where you're feeling this most intently, but also up the muscles either side of the spine, back of the neck, all the way up into the brainstem. Start to walk your hands back towards you. And still with soft legs, just float your arms up. Feel the sit bones and the tailbone rooting down. Turn your heart and navel towards the left. And come forward again. Just let the fingertips or hands come outside of the leg. And then let yourself flop once again. So yin is kind of the antidote or the opposite of a more yang practice. We generally hold the poses a little longer. When you switch off the outer muscles or the grosser muscles of the body and allow for a release through the fascia, the connective tissue, and the joint capsules. And coming up, floating the arms up, switch to the front and over to the right, and then float the fingertips outside of the legs, and let your body float over here. I'm not so worried about the alignment. You want to be coming towards your own comfortable edge. So it may feel a challenge, but it's not too much. You can be still here, even if there's a resistance in the mind. Reaching your arms forward, turning around towards the front. Releasing the arms down and just sliding the blanket out from underneath you. Slide your right foot back so the knee is bent and take the hands to the floor behind you. Lift up onto the ball of your right foot. Push into the hands, and as you lift your hips, take the pad of the left big toe to the floor. Just look forward here towards the navel. Slide your left leg back, still on the balls of the feet. Maybe lift your hips a little higher. If you want to take the head back here, tuck the chin in towards the chest and roll it back slowly into the cushion provided by your trapezius muscles. If that's not comfortable for your neck, please just stay looking forward. Drop your sit bones towards your heels and walk your hands towards you. Let your armpits hook over your knees. Let your head go. Rock yourself back onto your sit bones to come down and stretch your right leg forward. Hands behind you, lift your left heel. Push into the hands, lift the hips. Take the right big toe to the floor. Pelvic bones are level. Slide your right toes back. Lift your hips a little higher as you root through the balls of your feet. If you're taking the head back, tuck the chin in, roll it back slowly. Inner thighs drop down, outer thighs lift up. Glutes are slightly switched on, but not too intensely that you're squeezing the lower back or the sacrum. Looking forward, release the sit bones to the heels. Walk your hands towards you, towards your feet. And see if you can let yourself come all the way over. Belly folds over the thighs. Arms reach forward. Let the head go. And soften to the heels. Come and sit down. And roll yourself down. You might need to take your feet a little bit further away, coming all the way to the earth. Let's stretch the left leg forward. Draw the right knee towards the chest. Take the left heel slightly across the mat. Right arm up by your ear. Knee comes across the body. You could support underneath the knee if you don't want to take that leg too far over. Or the hand could come on top of the thigh if you want a little bit more weight. Reach from right fingertips through to the left toes, through the center of the body, through your core. Coming back, hug the knee in and changing legs. Left knee towards you, right leg extends. Right heel comes across the mat. Left arm by your ear. Knee comes across, supporting underneath the leg. Find that length from toes to fingers. Through the core of yourself. Rolling onto your back, hugging both knees towards you. And taking both feet to the floor. Stretch your legs out. Or keep the knees bent if your lower back doesn't like to be flat on the floor. Turn your palms towards the ceiling. Cover yourself with your blanket if you feel a little vulnerable with the front side of your body exposed, the softer side of your body with all its vital organs. Or underneath your head if your head is arching back.
the weight of your bones dropping down into the earth. Just taking your hands one on top of the other over the lower abdomen. Feeling the breath that's there. Beginning to feel the belly on the inhale, watching it retract to the spine on the exhale. Just some deep, grounding, returning breaths. Having a sense of being back inside your skin, the earth beneath you, the space around you, and with your eyes still closed, just orientating yourself back into the room that you're in. And making your way over to the right side. And back up into a comfortable seat when you're ready. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer and bow your head towards the flats of your thumbs. Taking a moment to thank yourself for making time to practice today, not only for yourself but for the benefit of all. And when you're ready, raise your gaze, open your eyes as your flats of your thumbs press gently against the center of the chest at your heart space. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. I hope to see some of you next week.